It just describes the world, right? Alexander the Great defeated King Darius. That's a description of something that happened. Okay?
I talked about ethics.
Now, if I say to you, you shouldn't lie, right? I'm telling you what you should do. Now I'm in the business of something normative, right? So I'll put it on the board. Normative. Relating to related to what is normative is concerned with what should be the case. That's the very important word there. And descriptive concerns what is the case.
Okay.
See, do you see the difference there, Nicole?
No.
Between normative and descriptive?
Say yes. You put capital yes.
Okay. So anthropology is descriptive. I'm an anthropologist.
Descriptive is
and I write.
what is going on.
I'll get to that.
What
I'll
should
get
be
to that,
going
Laura.
on. It's so simple. I don't know what the hell is your problem.
I want to finish this normative and descriptive distinction, right?
So dumb.
If I'm an anthropologist and I write tribe X, some tribe somewhere,
Does it hurt?
eats people. They're cannibals. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm not saying they should do that. I'm just reporting the news. That's descriptive.
That's what I do. I'm just saying, man. They got those hand gestures.
Anthropologists, historians, they just describe the world. And Putin invaded Ukraine. That's wrong. Hey, don't shoot the messenger, right? I didn't say that he had to invade or it was a good idea. I'm just telling you what happened, right?
Yeah, I'm just telling you what's
going on in the
I'm
world.
just saying, man.
Don't get so sensitive, right? My statement is descriptive, not normative. And again, ethics is normative because it's about what you should do. Now, meta-ethics. What the hell is meta-ethics? This is something they don't describe really well in the book.
No.
As you know, the first thing you do when you analyze an argument is look at the logic, right? Does the conclusion follow from the premise? Suppose that it does, and suppose that it follows necessarily, then the argument is valid. Then what do? Well, then we look at the assumptions and we try to see whether or not the assumptions are controversial or accepted, right? This analysis, this consideration of the assumptions, when it's an ethical argument, it's called meta-ethics. That's all it is. Meta-ethics simply is the examination of ethical claims, ethical statements, ethical terms. Okay.
pillow. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. I'll give you $1 for a head scratch for a minute.
So once again, if you're looking at an argument, let's say modus ponens, right? And it says, and we'll assume it's an ethical argument. It says, if it is good to obey your parents, then obey your parents. It is good to obey your parents, therefore obey your parents. Modus ponens. That's an ethical argument. It's about what you should be doing. A meta-ethical analysis of the assumptions might go something like this. What do you mean by good? Right? When you start asking questions not about the logical structure, but about what is being said, and what is being said is ethical, then your questions are meta-ethical. So once again, it says, suppose the argument is, if it is good to obey your parents, then obey your parents. Number two, it is good to obey your parents, therefore obey your parents. I first look at the argument, at the logical structure, and then I look at the assumptions. Since the assumptions are ethical, then my investigation into the assumptions is called meta-ethical. And one thing I might do in this meta-ethical analysis is ask, what do you mean by good? Do you mean conducive to appropriation of the virtues, or do you mean benefits the majority? What does good mean? Nicole, did I answer your questions? Good. It's not very clear, the book. Lots of things are really fine with the book. It's a good book, but some, they don't really define meta-ethics really well. Okay, so back to Aristotle. Actually, you know what? I do have something on meta-ethics that I wrote that I think is pretty clear. I should put it up in the announcement section. Okay, so let's go over Aristotle's ethics. Where is he? There it is. Okay. Aristotle's ethics are to be found in his book Nicomachean Ethics. A lot of these books aren't really books; they're just compilations of notes.
Huh?
Okay.
5 minutes. Stop the line. Stop the line.
Yeah, because it was 38.
That's why it's difficult to read Aristotle, is because
I gotta pay you again.
half the time you're reading lecture notes, and they're rushed. They're shorthand, right? So, in his book Nicomachean Ethics, Aristotle begins to he mentions something called Eudaimonia, which you can see there on the PowerPoint. EU from the epsilon upsilon means good. Eugenics.
Am I right?
Good genes.
That's right.
You is good. The science of eugenics is concerned with good
money.
genes, right?
$5.
But this is not eugenics. This is eudaimonia. What's eudaimonia? Daimon in the ancient Greek means something like spirit. It's where we get the word demon from. Daimon means spirit. So eudaimonia means something like being in good spirits, being in a good mood, being well. Aristotle, Eudaimonia is, according to Aristotle, the most important virtue. Is the highest good. It's all right here. Let's read this together. According to Aristotle, the highest good or virtue is eudaimonia, living well or flourishing. All other goods, health, wealth, are good because they are supposed to lead to eudaimonia. To live well, flourish, to have attained eudaimonia is to excel, to be all that you can be and to be happy. So, the fundamental goal in life or in human existence is eudaimonia. It's to be happy and to excel, to be good, to be well, to be good, to be well. This is the ultimate goal. All other things are means to that goal. So they're not really the end. Eudaimonia is the end. So we don't really want health for itself. Right? We want it for its consequence. When we are healthy, we are happy. Money is also a means, not an end. Right? You have money for some other reason. You acquire money so you can buy a house. And you buy the house so you can be safe. And you want to be safe so you can be happy. So there are many things that we value and that we want, but they're not ultimate.
All right.
They're important because they assist us. They help us to get to our goal of eudaimonia, but they are not in and of themselves the goal of human existence. The goal of human existence for him is, according to Aristotle, is to be happy and to be excellent. You have to be all that you can be. You have to flourish. You gotta kick ass. Okay, that's good. He wants us to be excellent. That's fine. But what is it to excel as a human being? What do human beings do when they excel as human beings? Anyone? You mean, yeah, but that's poetic, right? Because when you say grow, I think of trees growing, right? Mature, okay, that's better. I guess that Gauchamp meant mature, right?
The answer is they're happy.
Celebrate.
So they get to celebrate. When you excel as a human being, like as a person, you're very happy.
Right, but what does this concretely mean? Maybe that's true, but what does it... I'll give you
destroy other human beings.
That guy's a real joke.
No, that's what a girl said.
That girl is really crazy.
Destroy students. No, just kidding. Don't tell Adina I said that. On the subject,
Don't tell
of
Adina I said that.
destruction and
Was it
killing
Dina?
people,
The dean.
The dean.
what is
I like
it
the
for a
whole
knife to
workaholic.
excel? What does an excellent knife do? It has to be sharp. It cuts well. Thank you, man. It cuts well. Right? An excellent knife doesn't provide you shelter, right? You're getting warm, mate.
You say mate?
An excellent
Like-
knife doesn't provide you shelter. That's not what an excellent knife does, right? Maybe an excellent home provides you shelter, or an excellent structure, right? So each thing has its purpose, right? So back to this question, what is it to excel as a human being? What do you think Aristotle thinks happens when someone is excelling as a human being? What is he or she doing? That's true, but what is the purpose? That's what Nietzsche would say, Natalia. Friedrich Nietzsche, much later though. Good answer, but not Aristotle. No. An excellent knife cuts well. An excellent structure gives you shelter. That's poetic, Jennifer. You're warm, Gushon, you're warm. But how? So in what sense? We already know that, mate. You're warm, Gushon. Again, an excellent knife cuts well. That's what distinguishes knives from other entities. Its purpose is to cut, right? Christian's warm. I'll just tell you. Good answers. I've had some good answers.
They know how to use their knowledge.
Human beings reason. So, as excellent human beings, we have to reason well. If you cannot reason well, you cannot be an excellent human being. According to Aristotle, everything has a purpose. Everything has a purpose. The toilet's supposed to flush the water down, right? The knife's supposed to cut.
Time's up.
What else? The vehicle is supposed to get you there.
Do you accept?
An excellent vehicle takes you to your destination.
Or not?
Well,
Yeah,
human beings aren't knives, they're not vehicles. What are they? They're rational animals. According to Aristotle, human beings are rational animals. If it's going to be an excellent human being, it needs to reason well. Living well, flourishing, being all you can be, which Aristotle calls Eudaimonia, must involve reasoning well. We are rational animals. So in order to excel, we must reason well or excellently throughout our lives. Among other things, this means that our conclusions will be validly inferred and the truth will become known.
See.
truth is subjective. Why do you say that?
Yeah, for real. What? There's only one truth. Come on. Why you call the truth then?
Idiot.
Huh?
So, when doctors disagree on whether or not you're sick,
Pretend I'm dead. If I
there's
was
no
dead,
objective
I
truth
guess
because they disagree. You're neither sick nor healthy. It's all subjective. Just because the doctors disagree.
I mean, to each doctor, that's their truth. If let's say I'm diagnosing somebody and I'm like, no, you're not sick. And then the next doctor is like, no, he is sick. My truth is what I believe, like what I am diagnosing. But his truth is different from my truth.
Yeah, but that's not really true.
Well, that's the example you were talking about.
Yeah, the truth is either the guy is sick or he isn't. Either someone is sick or they're not sick. And the person who says he's sick, if the guy is sick, is speaking the truth. Truth is correspondence with reality.
So it is sort of subjective because back then, let's say chickenpox was such a horrible thing and everybody was like, you're going to die from chickenpox, and that was their truth. And now our truth is, no, chickenpox is not that big of a deal. Both are true during the time that were determined, but like I said, truth is subjective.
there's a difference.
They were wrong when they said what they said about chickenpox. What they were thinking was false. It wasn't true. They can call it their truth, but it's not truth.
Just don't trip out.
Right now, either the planet Mars exists or it doesn't.
No.
If the planet Mars exists and I say Mars exists, then what I'm saying is true. If the planet Mars doesn't exist and I say the planet truth is not a belief. No, truth is a property of a proposition, just in case the proposition describes reality.
But what if you say, I don't know, I am an anxious person, and then you go to a therapist and your therapist is like, no, you're not an anxious person because you don't meet these requirements, but you feel the anxiety. So what is the truth?
What is the truth? The truth is the statement that corresponds with the facts.
That's why, like in medicine, there is the difference between symptoms and signs, because the signs is when the doctor actually can see and is gonna prove that what you have, but the symptoms is the patient saying, and we can see it, we don't know, so
But
they're
if you
not actually.
Sorry, but if you look back at the example of chickenpox, because somebody just said truth could be supported with facts. Back in the day, saying people died from chickenpox was supported with facts back in those days because they didn't have further technology to assist them to make any other deductions on what was going on. But now we've improved and our facts have changed. So that it was true for that time period for chickenpox to be deadly. And now it is true that chickenpox is not deadly. So truth is subjective to what we know.
Well, when you're asking that, the example that came to my mind, it was about back in the days, they used to say the world was actually, the planet, it was flat. And they used to believe that it was flat. But then some were taken as that was a truth, but
They were wrong.
That later on they prove that it's not. So.
But when they thought the Earth was flat, their statement was false.
No, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like the truth is not a belief, because someone's gonna prove, and maybe before, when you're making a statement, you actually don't know. But you can say that it's false or true until you prove, right?
Maybe. In many cases, you're right. Not in all. Some things are self-evident. For example, a substance has a quality is self-evident. Right? You don't need to prove that. But look, if people in the past thought that the Earth was flat and they considered that to be true, they were wrong.
That doesn't make it true just because you believe
they were holding a false belief.
People are so.
It's never true that the Earth is.
I'm like, oh my god, the sky is purple, and everyone's just saying the sky
always
is purple.
true that the Earth is shaped like a sphere. And if people disagree, that's neither here nor there.
Someone died.
Okay, but just because it's subjective doesn't
you don't
mean
think
it's
that I thought
true.
that the planet was flat, right?
No.
Okay.
The Earth either exists or it doesn't. It's either true or it's not. That isn't.
I
There's no
just read
such thing
this
as
online. I'm sorry you read that online. I really am sorry that's online. Yeah. People write a lot of things. Look, truth.
Which truth are we talking about?
It's either true or it's not. Just because you say something doesn't make
truth
it
is
true.
A property of a proposition.
Universal truth or
if you
truth?
start saying like all truths are subjective, that just makes it an opinion. Doesn't make it true.
The proposition
you said that like
corresponds
you just call
with reality.
I mean, it's true. Just because you say something and you're like, it's a subjective truth. Like that doesn't make it true.
Okay, then say it. Tell her what is your opinion.
I'm gonna answer your question, Gabriela. I'll put it
and
here.
the whole
Then I gotta
chicken
go
pox
back
thing
to
that she's
Aristotle
talking
again.
about, that's just like an
Truth
exception.
is a property of proposition, just in case the proposition corresponds with reality. For example,
That doesn't make it like that doesn't mean that applies to everything. Doesn't mean that all truths are
it rains.
subjective,
true.
either true or it's not.
If and only if.
But even you just saying that, like, the truth corresponds with reality. What is reality for us now, 50 years from now, might not be reality then. So there will change.
Yeah, so we could be wrong in holding false beliefs, but they're not true.
But as far as we know, they are true.
Exactly.
As far you could say that. As far as I know, this is true. That's fine. That's very different. That's good. Yeah, truth is a property of a proposition, just in case the proposition corresponds with reality. For example, it rains is true if and only if it rains. Now, getting to know, right, what is real. Determining, is it really raining or am I hallucinating? Am I in the matrix? That's something else, right? That's another problem. But that's what truth is. Okay, let's continue with Aristotle here. Yeah, I like what you said, Gabriela. For all I know, this is true, or for all they knew, that was true. Yeah, but it was in actuality false. That's okay. Who am I? Right. So, Aristotle. Yeah. He thinks, and by the way, you're not supposed to agree with Aristotle or Socrates or Plato. We're going to go over the ideas of Bentham and Mill, and also Hume. We're also going to go over Immanuel Kant. You don't have to agree with any of them. You don't have to agree with any of them. You have to understand it. That's all. I wrote my master's thesis on Plato. I don't agree with Plato on anything, I think. Very few things. But the goal here is to get you to understand what these 50 important people thought and said or wrote. If you agree with them, great. If you don't, that's not a problem. Okay. Right. Somebody mentioned knowledge earlier. I think it was Christian. So Aristotle wants us to reason well. Why? Why does he want us to reason well? And why does he want us to know the truth? Why does he want us to know the truth, right? And why is it that he's placing so much importance on philosophy and science, right? Because when he says, I want you to reason well, he's saying study logic. When he's saying, get to know the truth, he's telling you, do science. Do science, right? But why isn't he saying, dedicate your life to music?
It's the same thing.
Why isn't he talking about becoming a sculptor or an artist? Why is he placing so much importance on reasoning? Yeah, but you could have a better understanding of art. Why must we dedicate so much time, Aristotle, to science and philosophy?
Because it gives you a better understanding of who we are, why we're here, what is our purpose in life, what can we do, our planets, why. You answer so many whys.
Yeah, that's not what he's going to say, but that's a good answer too. But the reason he gives is that philosophy and science are fundamental. Philosophy teaches you how to think, and science is the application, right, of correct thinking as applied to physical phenomena. Now, again, someone might say, why not dedicate my life to playing the guitar or the drums, right? Why must I first and foremost do philosophy and science? I like Gabriela's answer. And philosophy and science are primary for many, many reasons. They're principal for many, many reasons. Suppose that you don't know any science. Everyone just paints away or plays the flutes or plays the drums. Everyone wants to be an artist, and that's great. We need artists. People just want to play rock and roll or something, right? Exactly, Gabriela. Well, if no one knows any science, then there's no people doing meteorology. And if there's no one doing meteorology, nobody knows the hurricane's coming. And if no one knows the hurricane's coming, we're screwed. And there goes our artwork, and there goes everything, as we're destroyed by Mother Nature. So, yes, there is some fields of study are more important than others, according to Aristotle. Philosophy and science are more important than other activities. So, we're rounding this out. To live well or flourish, in other words, Eudaimonia entails excelling at what you do. If you excel at what you do, then you are all that you can be. For Aristotle, this entails exploiting your capacity for knowledge. Therefore, the highest good, Eudaimonia, involves using your mind for the purpose of discovering. I think I repeated this. there is more. That is, philosophy and science are fundamental. They're fundamental. But it's not all there is to it. In order to excel as human beings, there's much more to it. We'll go over this, but we'll take another break. And I'll see you in 15 minutes. Okay? And we'll leave it at now.
Professor, I have a question about the essay. Is it possible to send you like a paragraph to see if I'm in the right track of what I'm writing?
Did you did I approve your thesis statement and outline?
Yes, you did.
Okay, send whatever you want to my email.
Okay, thank you.
My pleasure.